Hello, and welcome to part 2 in a Wired Family series on social media and teen depression. Last year, we surveyed 10,000 students on their use of social media. To our surprise, YouTube was by far the #1 app. Netflix was second. Since over 50% of parents have no restrictions on their child's social media use, many kids have access to everything available on YouTube, including pornography, videos on taking your own life, and YouTube stars who most adults really don't know anything about. This impacts our children and can impact how they feel about themselves and their views of the world. Now, is YouTube a bad app? Absolutely not, but it requires careful parental guidance, which frankly, seldom occurs. Now, what about our own use of technology? Does that have any impact on our kids, our marriages? Well, the answer is yes, it does. The time that we spend on our phones is taken away from the time we spend being present with and for our kids and our spouses. This has created a chasm in many homes and quite possibly is one of the causes we see today with teen depression, anxiety, and other mental health issues. Now, sadly, the numbers are very real, as we saw in our previous video. Dr. Jean Twenge, a professor of psychology at San Diego State University and author of iGen, says these increases are huge, possibly unprecedented. Now, in other words, there's been a growth in what is known today as suicide-related outcomes. What does that mean? It means ideation, planning, and attempts to take one's own life. And with kids, it's a significant issue. In one study, she discovered that kids who spent 3 hours or more a day on smartphones or other devices were 34% more likely to suffer at least one suicide-related outcome, including those feelings of hopelessness or seriously considering suicide, than kids who use devices 2 hours or less per day. Now, the problem there is most kids use more than 3 hours per day. But what about kids using devices 5 or more hours a day? Well, 48% had at least one suicide-related outcome. The mental health of our kids are truly being tested, and unfortunately, most of us are unaware. Ask any school counselor how much time each week they devote to these issues, and unfortunately, their answers will surprise you. Then there's the Instagram issue. Young women often derive their self-worth on Instagram by their likes. They constantly compare their lives to those of their peers, which is certainly an unfair comparison. Ex-teen model Esna O'Neill admitted to her unhealthy obsession with the app and finally deleted her entire account, calling Instagram contrived perfection made to get attention. And so many of our young men and young women are looking for that attention. Then there's the teen growing obsession with porn. Now, in her 2011 article, well before the explosion of mobile social media, Dr. Alexandra Kakakis voiced her concern about teen addiction to porn by writing in Psychology Today, "This is a scary vision for generations to come, where men's brains have been pornosized in adolescence to lead to a lifetime of sexual pathology." Those are our kids. This too often leads to depression, anxiety, and a life of not being able to relate to others on a true human level. And we, as parents and adults, we've enabled it. What does this mean to future relationships, marriages, families, and society? Well, I think we know. Our culture has changed. But one thing that has not really changed is our need for human relationships. That will never change. It's what makes us human. Yet we are well on our way to programming children to immerse themselves into technology, images, and sensations for which they're really not ready and sadly might not ever recover from. So what can you do? Well, there are a few things you can do. On our website and in my book, I write about the 10 steps every parent should take if they are considering giving technology to their child. I'll address just a few of them because we don't have a whole lot of time in this video. First and foremost, you got to talk to your kids. Create a strategy together of what you will and what you won't allow. Just because everyone else has a smartphone in the 4th grade doesn't really mean that might be the right thing for your child. If you provide a device, Be prepared to manage it. You must have tech-free zones in your house, no phone in the bedroom, bathroom, or out of your sight. Most of the sexting takes place in your home. Eliminate that natural adolescent temptation. The parents or guardian should be the only people with access to the iTunes or Google Play stores. Your child should not be allowed to download apps or music without you. Why? For one, there are ghost and vault apps that hide your child's apps, their pictures, their videos, their conversations. If you control what can be downloaded, you eliminate that one issue. And incidentally, that all starts in about the 6th grade. Leverage the great parental controls that are available to help manage your child's devices. There are services such as Bark, You Know Kids, Teen Safe, Circle Go, and Circle with Disney, just to name a few, that can help you control both the apps, the devices, and the times that your child can use those devices and those particular apps. You know, today we lather our kids up with sunscreen before they hit the playing field, the beach, or the pool. Often for good reason. We are concerned about our kids' intake of gluten, carbs, lead in the water, and of course, peanut allergies. These all can be really serious issues. But according to the U.S. News and World Report, only about 1% of the population has celiac disease and must avoid gluten. According to a report in MedicineNet, only 1 to 2% of the population are really allergic to nuts. But all of our children are susceptible to the growing issue of depression, anxiety, and mental health issues. We must also take one of the contributors of this seriously: social media. You know, one of my favorite TV characters was Bob Keeshan, who many of us knew as Captain Kangaroo. And he once said, "Parents are the ultimate role models for children. Every word, movement, and action have an effect. No other person or outside force has a greater influence on a child than a parent." Now, Keeshan died in 2004, 3 years before the introduction of the iPhone. Sadly, his comments are often no longer valid given the extent of unsupervised technology we've given to our kids. But it doesn't have to be this way if we simply take the time to be parents. Now, thanks for joining us today, and please consider sharing this video with a friend or family member that you feel it might help. For more information, go to awiredfamily.org or email us at stephen@awiredfamily.org.